Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Driving My Mind podcast. And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for tuning into the YouTube channel. As always, I'm going to appreciate your support into the automotive culture and world that I like to get myself involved with and support locally as best as I can. Obviously, you guys will say, well, you haven't been to anything yet. Again, it's a crazy part of the year, but don't worry, I got stuff planned. I know tomorrow is Temecula Car Community's Taco Tuesday. Unless I'm really beat to heck from work, I definitely want to hit that up. I know the temperature is going to be super bad tomorrow, so that might keep some people out, but we'll see. I'll try to do my best. It's from 6 to 9 anyways. So we got something going on Tuesday, or in this case today for you guys. We also got this weekend, North County SD has their Euro meet along with VW Syndicate down the street, my local spot, literally 5 minutes away. So I'm tempted to go to both of them. We'll see how I feel on a Saturday, but at the very least, I can go to VW Syndicate. I had a great time. They brought so many great European cars out there. And it'd be kind of cool to see like the North SD Euros and the VW Syndicate Euros and compare and contrast for all you Euro fans. We got that, and we got Detail Garage with Lethal Culture on Sunday, the 20th. Definitely, I don't have USPSA that day, and I wasn't going to go to the one later this month anyways because Escondido's having their JDM meet. The day I normally go to USPSA, I am literally going to not go shooting in order to go see the JDM meet at Escondido. And that's in a couple of weeks from now, but anyways, there is stuff coming up. I do have some plans. Again, it's just, this first month, the work schedule's all kind of crazy, and I'm going to do my best to get out there. But I appreciate you guys watching and listening to the podcast. Not watching so much, but I'm telling you that RSS, like Insta feed to YouTube, I'm sorry, guys. I love it too much because it saves me a lot of time and a lot of video editing, which helps on a Monday. So appreciate you guys doing that. I should move the podcast schedule to another day, but I like Mondays. It kind of wakes me up, kind of lets me know that after a weekend of car meets or car shows, I get to kind of digest and divulge to you guys what I've been looking at and seeing at. I saw all the pictures from local car scene, their Cars and Coffee. I miss going to their stuff. But it's always on the Sundays that I have USPSA, so I can't miss. It's one thing to enjoy the car show, but I know with USPSA, for me as a an amateur shooter, I want to continue to grow my skills and maintain the skills, and I have a lot to learn because I go against some amazing guys, and I'm always finishing last in the limited class. But hey, it's okay because you gotta take the negative feedbacks, you take all the mics and all the misses. Really tough, but then you also got to take a step back and, hey, how many alphas did you get from, a 25-yard shot on iron sights? I got to kind of appreciate that too. Or when you got the swinging the targets. So, you're always your own harshest critic, right? So, but with shooting, that's definitely a passion of mine. If I didn't have a car channel, I'd do a gun channel, but I don't think YouTube and all the algorithms like that for all these gun tubers out there. So let's stick with car tubing, shall we? All right. Enough about that. Enough about the intro. You've tuned in to hear all about wheels, and I'm here to break it down to you because I saw some amazing wheels and rides lately. It's been coming up on my feed, and everything's just been highlighted, and I see people ceramic coating their awesome wheels, and it's just like, let's make a podcast just simply all about wheels. So let's take the next 10, 15, 20 minutes max discussing wheels, because it's just like the shoes on your outfit. It kind of completes the whole car and the whole ride. And people always look at the car and then they look at the wheels, and they kind of put together in their mind the whole picture of the car, right? And a nice set of wheels can really make it stand out, especially at the car show. You hear me all the time in my YouTube channel, like, dude, those wheels cost more than my mortgage, right? I always say that because, dude, it's true. I mean, a high quality set of wheels are going to cost you $4,000 to $6,000, right? King Motorsports has the Mugen MF10s for the S2000 fitment, freaking like on sale right now for like 5Gs, dude. And there's always a part of me, it's just like, do I just do it, dude? But no, I can't, man. It'll look kind of funny because my S2000's on like stock height, but I've always dreamed of Mugen MF10s on an S2000, other than that and BBS wheels, right? Like a Mugen MF10 on an S2000 is like, let me try to avoid any sexual commentary, but it's kind of like Texas Roadhouse, that cinnamon butter on those homemade rolls. Like, it's just perfect, right? So Mugen MF10s on an S2000, my dream, and King Motorsports has them on sale, and it really completes the car and the outfit and what it's made for, but too much money for me. But yeah, let's talk about wheels and why they are important. We'll start with that. Number one, weight, right? Your stock factory wheels are going to be relatively hefty, and it comes from the manufacturer, especially if they're manufacturer-made wheels or whoever they outsource it to, right? Because it's not like Honda's making literally their own wheels, right? I'm sure they probably outsource it. I'm sure Nissan or Ford outsource some of their wheels. And so the factory wheels are going to be, heavier as a cost cutting or costing kind of approach to manufacturing. And so, they may be cast aluminum or they may be cast steel, and they may have an intricate design or a nice pattern or, some type of coating or on it, but it's going to be a heavier wheel. So by upgrading to an aftermarket wheel, you're probably naturally going to save some weight. And I remember, seeing in like the old Honda tuning magazines, like Koenig, right? Koenig wheels from like America Tire, which, dude, I have no problem with Koenig wheels. Like, they're a great like entry level setup. Dude, they would make some super slick looking wheels, and they were light. I remember I forgot the kind of Koenigs I had for my Integra, but I put them on there with the Nito Neo Gen tire, and dude, they were rock freaking solid, and they weighed so much less than the wheels that the DA9 had originally. So definitely you're gonna be saving weight. And if you go big baller, you go forged aluminum, or now the big baller are the carbon fiber wheels. I mean, you're talking about something so light, like you can literally toss in the air, lift it with one arm, like a Marine bringing up the ammo box and the ammo box is empty. It's just going to like fly in the air, right? So definitely weight savings when you upgrade your wheels. Looks, I mean, I'm not one for looks because I'm not a very attractive person, right? But no, looks definitely, again, we talk about a wheel that just complements the car nicely. Again, you're talking about, the Corvette on BBS, okay? You're talking about the Mugen MF10s on the S2000. You're talking about BMWs. Oh my God, they look so good with the multi-spoke, BBS-LM wheels, right? You got the, Ichiban Garage, Tony. I love his like daily Civic with the freaking hard Volk TE37s. I think they're TE37s. I know they're Volk wheels. And it just matches his Civic perfectly. Like the gunmetal color matches just like his theme of that like modern daily. And it's just like, oh my God, I love looking at his freaking Civic and those wheels. And so, just the looks. Your car can go from really good to great with a matching set of wheels. Let's talk about those VIP cars, and they have the fat 3-piece wheels, which we'll talk about what 3-piece wheels are in a moment. And you got the Lexus LS, 460 or 400, right? With the old school LS 400s. And they have those 3-piece set of deep dish chrome wheels, Japanese, work wheels. And you're just like, dang. It goes from really good to great. You know what I'm saying? So looks, obviously, it really complements and enhances the car's already, if you're going the aftermarket route with the wheels, you're getting a lot from it with building upon its looks with a good set of wheels. And lastly, ability. We're talking about losing that weight, and we're talking about that unsprung mass going away. Your wheel hubs aren't working as hard. You're able to get down more power more quickly to your car, whether it's front driven or rear driven. And you're talking about upgrading your wheels. Well, now you can upgrade the size tire that you want. Maybe you'll get that thinner sidewall, and it'll increase that, that turn in better on a certain autocross or racetrack that you're going to. I mean, look at the FK8 Type Rs, right? How thin they made those sidewalls to eliminate that torque steer and to get that initial turn in and bite that the engineers kind of wanted to bring for the hardcore Civic enthusiasts and especially the Type R enthusiasts. There is a science to the ability of what a tire can do with the appropriate wheel. Okay. And, you really have to, we're going to go into this, we're going to have to really like match up what type of wheel setup you want in order to get the tire and the performance you want out of it. So it does enhance the ability, not just from a weight perspective, but how you make that combination and that match to your car and your tires. So, all right, let's talk about those brands. You've already kind of mentioned that, but me, I'm a JDM nut, you're going to talk about work wheels. I remember on my Honda Accord in my my teens and early 20s, I had CR Kai. I still have one CR Kai wheel on my freaking 240SX as a backup spare, dude. I don't know what happened to the other CR Kais. I think, honestly, dude, I think we like kind of sold them. And it was like the stupidest decision ever because I saved so much money for those freaking wheels. But I had some work CR Kai wheels on my Accord, and they are, they looked so hard. And, I was going for a more sporty look with the Honda Accord. In reality, I should have taken a look at some other options and made it maybe like more VIP wannabe. But yeah, I'm a work boy for life, dude. BBS. My brother is super hardcore into BBS. He would love to put it on his GT86, but BBS are just, the ultimate like baller wheel. They've been out forever. So many manufacturers, when they make their premium car, they'll look to BBS to perhaps help them with the design and engineering of their wheels, right? Or make them themselves, and just brand it as, just off the inside of the wheel, right? Rays and Volk and Enkei, right? I mean, dude, those things there's just something about a Nissan 370Z or 400Z now, right? With a freaking set of raised forged wheels. Like, that's just like, again, it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? It's Texas Roadhouse honey butter with the homemade rolls. Like, who doesn't love a Z car with some raised forged wheels, or like Nismo branded raised wheels? Like, gosh, this just looks so good. And I really want to emphasize these brands that I'm telling you: BBS, Rays, Volk, Mackin Industries, essentially, right? But I want you to really emphasize the fact that I'm not naming the knockoff brands, right? And I can make this into a whole nother podcast. Maybe I should, right? No two knockoffs, right? Again, back in the day, Rhoda, okay? everybody, especially in the Honda community, rocked Rota wheels. And, truth be told, I've heard they've gotten a little bit better, but they're Filipino-made wheels, right? They're not the Japanese craftsman, Takumi, like hardcore wheels and alloys that they use in the forging process. They are a knockoff third-party brand based, doing their designs based on these other types of wheels. And so I really want people, especially with wheels, to like do your best to avoid the knockoffs. Dude, I know wheels cost an arm and a leg. I will never probably buy aftermarket wheels again in my lifetime. On my 240SX, I have some Team 5-Ziggin wheels, throwback to the early 2000s on that. And I love the size and I love the fitment. I mean, maybe I would get some wheels for that car if I ever get a chance to restore it. But, I would definitely avoid any knockoffs. You really have to support the brand HRE, right? I mean, they have some amazing wheels, and that their process of building and creating the wheel is high class, top tier, So again, nothing wrong with the Philippines, but it's not the Japanese made wheel. So avoid those knockoffs, guys. Get good branded wheels. Okay. Shopping. Let's start to wrap up. Okay. Size and fitment are huge. All right. And this could be a whole nother technical podcast. I used to do a lot of research on this, especially when I was shopping for wheels 15, 20 years ago. Right. But you really want to pay attention to your car and what the forums say about fitment, and doing your own kind of research, because it makes me cringe to think a lot of these car tubers are like, hey man, let me borrow your wheels, or can I try your wheels? Let me see how they fit. I mean, I guess that's okay, right? But it's so strange to me that people just slap on some wheels that they got a good deal on Facebook Marketplace for, not knowing that dude, this doesn't look good on your car. Or every time you make a hard left turn, you're scraping, you're digging into your fender well, or your car's already so low and your wheel is so tall, you've ruined the dynamics of how the car is supposed to react. So it just irks me to think that people just put wheels on their car and just, they want to look good, right? You want to wear your Nike Air Jordan blah blah blahs, when in reality your ortho feet freaking tennis shoes are a much better fit for the type of work and job you do, even though they don't look that good. But yeah, it just, fitment and wheel sizing is so important. And I think the main thing for everybody is the type of offset you're going to be working on with your car. Now, let me tell you my kind of background, building this 240SX, 15, 20 years ago. Offset was the biggest deal, because you always wanted that concave look, right? You wanted that sunken look for your wheels, or you wanted the biggest deep dish possible, right? You wanted to be able to flex putting that dollar bill on your freaking your forum posting of how deep dish your wheels are, right? And so judging from what I used my car, I like to, go do donuts, or I try to do a couple of drift events and just practicing. The fitment I got was on my Team 5-Ziggins were 18 by 9.5 plus 12 offset. And the place that I work with, they're Speed Alliance, and they're still around. I would love to go see the owner, Dat, and his name's Dat, D-A-T. And just to say what's up and see if he recognizes me. I'm sure he's a family man with kids and everything. But, he said, and it still holds true, this is literally the perfect fitment for the 240SX. You don't have to run spacers. You don't have to run any type of concentric hub rings or anything like that. You have 5-lug, which the 240SX originally came with 4-lug, but I upgraded them to 5-lug, right? This wheel is literally slap on, roll your fender, and go. And it truly was that process. So you have to really like dig around with like, if you're going to be shopping for wheels, like what is the best fitment, namely offset, how sunk in or how much further that center of the wheel, the hub where it connects to the wheel, where, how far in or out is it going to be? S2000s like higher offsets, right? Just the way the car is built and made, it needs a higher offset wheel. That's why I mentioned with King Motorsports, they have these Mugen MF10s in such a higher offset because they were meant for the S2000. But I'm sure you can get Mugen MF10s with a completely different look, because you would change the offset and it'll look maybe more sunk in, right? And so when you mess with that offset though, like again, you're going to be changing the way the wheel fits onto your car and how much tire you're going to be fitting in underneath your car. And so then that's where you talk about, with all the homies with their stretched tires, and, check out my podcast before when we talk about the most critical and underlooked part of your vehicle, which are tires, right? And so you're going to be talking about stretching tires and going into the limits of what what the tire manufacturer didn't want you to do for the sake of fitment, right? So again, if you're going to be messing around with wheel offset, do your research and make sure that you're picking something that best fits your car appropriately. You want to avoid spacers. You know what I'm saying? You want to avoid adding more stress to those CV joints and those hubs to begin with. I know it looks more flush when your wheels are tucked right against the car, but you know what? Buy the appropriately sized wheel to begin with so you don't have to worry about spacers, because I've heard spacers, it's just another component. Like when you fit that spacer between your hub and then you have to get the extended lug bolts, unless it comes with it, right? It's just more problems that could go wrong as you're driving. I know a lot of BMW guys use spacers. Heck, I think BMW actually makes their own spacers, right? Or like a company really associated with them. But either way, I would always recommend trying to avoid spacers and adding that extra layer of something else that could go wrong on your vehicle, right? You're going to be changing the torque specs, you're going to be changing the dynamics of the car. There's going to be that instant, just that little mini space. Now, if you're just street driving, who cares, right? But again, check your offset, check your wheel sizes, and just get the wheel that you can slap on. And I'm going to end with this: fender roll if you have to. Now, I would never do this to my S2000. I never do this to my Alexa. I never do this to anything. If I get a CTR one day, never going to do this. But, sometimes you get that wheel, and I did it with my 240. I still have my fender roller. And you will have to, kind of pull and stretch your fender in order to get the tire to not rub on your vehicle. It's not that it's hard, but you can really screw up your car if you don't do it right. You're going to end up taking it to a body shop and get it redone, which I think on one side of my 240, I'm going to have to. The other side, I actually rolled that thing like perfectly, dude. But you can see, you can see the one side that was a practice for me. You have to get a really, really good heat gun in order to fender roll, get that sheet metal nice and warm in order for it to just roll really smoothly. And I got a fender roller from Powered by Max. And again, this was 15, 20 years ago. And dude, it still works. It still probably does its job just right. But it's something that you could tackle. But if you know a guy who knows a guy, I would rather just pay them and have them deal with the stress. There's so many people in the car community that probably do really good fender rolling. Fender rolling for me back, 20 years ago, it was kind of new. That's what the hot shot drifters were kind of doing, and everyone was looking for the tool and doing it the proper way, where you can get that paper thin, what do the Japanese call it, sudaichi or whatever the heck it was, right? Paper thin fitment on your wheel tire and your arches. But in order to be baller, you may have to do that in order to stretch it, put in the right wheel that you want. So heed my warning when I say you may need to look into fender rolling, even if you match up the perfectly sized wheel for your car. So always warning to the users. But anyways, I appreciate your time. I love wheels. I just can't afford them, right? But who can? And if you can, you're a baller, and you will see me on YouTube saying, dang, look at those wheels. They cost more than my mortgage. But anyways, what do you think? What kind of wheels are you rocking? What are your thoughts about wheels, and what do they do for your ride? Please let me know. Comment if you're watching on my YouTube channel. Let me know. Shoot me an email. I'll check my email from time to time, right? But thank you guys for listening. Thank you for listening on the RSS feed. Thank you for listening on my YouTube channel. Be on the lookout. I'm going to try to make some meets this week and this weekend. So until then, catch me at the shows. I'll see you. Stay positive. Keep driving your mind as I drive my mind and get the school year going. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.